So this is how we work. You got the example, right? So we don't spend on Zoom. We don't spend on Zoom, but we spend on remuneration and R&D activities and welfare of employees. So this is one example of asset management where we don't spend unnecessarily on a Zoom professional account.
Right. I don't blame you. You don't need to. It's free.
Yeah, we don't have to. Yeah. Yeah, Basiru, are you able to listen?
Yeah,
fine. Okay. So I've taken a lot of I've taken your reference in the past recording. I'll show it to you. Please don't mind. And now I further take your reference because you don't mind, right? So now I would share my screen and show the projects which we have in place and what we are working on. So let's go. Yeah. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the first project which we are working on is building a DNA computer based on the concepts of reverse transcription PCR and a biological Turing machine. So I have a whole presentation around it. Basiru knows about it. For Steve, I would share the presentation. In fact, I would share our website page, which has all the major videos in it. So Steve could have a look at it. So this is a very exciting project. There has been a lot of traction. For example, for the computational biologist position, which I posted, there are more than 60 plus candidates from very good universities. Universities like Caltech, Syracuse, Sanford, and even some guys from Massachusetts, Lowell, very good universities. Almost UCLA and a few other universities around the West Coast. And one moment, I'll just save this recording. Okay, for now, I'll just save it. Yeah. So, the reason why I'm starting with the DNA computing is we have very good associates. In fact, I have recruited 3 people already. One person, her name is Lisa. She's a very good seasoned professional in this field in cell culture array and reverse transcription assay PCR based mechanisms. And she offered to work for free. She said, I like your vision statement. I like your mission statement for women empowerment, child poverty alleviation. I would like to work for free in my part-time. She said, I want to keep my day job. Can I work part-time for free? And I said, no, we don't work that way. We would remunerate you. And I gave her $130,000. Okay, she's living in Kansas. So I gave $130,000. And I said, even if we will generate revenue, we'll have traction and we will remunerate you, even if we are not worried about fixer. So there are people who are ready to work for free. And so that is a kind of strong mission statement which we have and kind of traction we are getting. So it's quite exciting. But we have funding opportunities from the Michigan Small Business Development Corporation. I have a meeting with them on 11th, and I have given plans for that. And a mechanism with which we are trying to generate revenue is through a restaurant chain, which I'm going to start. So for that, we have the funding and we'll get the funding. So through the restaurant chain, we will get the working capital for our core technologies. So I'm not going for a venture capitalist or I'm not going for a loan because a loan is risky and they need 2 years of traction. And a venture capitalist, we lose equity. So we start with, let's say, a 7% equity to the venture capitalist. By the end of the series and by the end of when we go for IPO or something. That's the fashion statement. Hey, these days go for series funding and IPO. By the end of it, we will have a single-digit equity. So we started the organization, and we will not be the exact owners of the organization anymore. And we won't have the deciding authority as well. So you being a CHRO and board members and trustees, co-grantors of the trustee, could have a say in the decision making and could have a say in the finances. But once you go for a venture capitalist equity, we lose all the equity, and we won't have the stakes, enough stakes to make the decision. Apart from
your VC community doesn't align with your goals long term either, right? They have conflict.
They won't allow. They will never.
They want to. They want a return on capital. That's all they care about. And they're in it to win it for their shareholders. You're in it to win it for society and humanity, right? Totally different conflict in terms of aligning goals and values, right?
So that is the reason we have been in the picture for 1 year. We were not able to get funds because of this conflict. And though we did not get funds, it is fine because we operate like a bamboo tree. So the bamboo tree, it grows its roots. Let's say for 5 years, it grows its roots, and in one single week, it grows for 40 meters. But let's say the tomato tree or other shrubs and climbers, they don't grow very tall. They sprout out very fast, but they don't go very tall. So we are not going to become the shrubs. We are going to become the bamboo tree. So we have spent a lot of time on innovation. We have spent a lot of time on ideation and trying to find out ways or means where it could fail. So it's not that I come up with an idea and I be romantically involved with that idea, and the following day it fails. So we had 1 year of time to evaluate our ideas, and we found that there's a lot of traction all over. And now we are going it full-fledged in those ideas. It's not that I started. Let's say you take the example of Nikola. Nikola, the organization, not the Nikola Tesla inventor, but the Nikola, the truck organization, who claimed they had an idea. They got a lot of funding, more than $30 billion. And when they investigated and they found it was not an idea. It was not an idea which could be implemented. It was kind of an utopia. They are under investigation now. Now you won't find them in the news now. They were big and they were advertising big and stuff like that. So Nikola's no more in picture. So we should not be something like that. So we should not. So that's why we evaluated our ideas. We put it into practice in indirect means, and we found that they are valid. And in fact, many organizations are following. That's the reason we are floating the ideas. So once we float the ideas and someone picks up and say that, okay, there's something similar happening somewhere else and it's gaining traction, that means our idea is valid. So we don't want to build an idea around utopia which won't work and waste money on that. In fact, we are going to bootstrap our organization through a restaurant chain, which I'll try to form very soon. In fact, there's a community college called Schoolcraft, where I could have a space initially, and slowly we'll spread. And for a Chickafil, you just need $10,000 for a franchise. And the kind of revenue they generate for 1 year is $1 million. So $1 million with minimum investment and with minimum personnel, and I'll share the business plan. It's very quite profitable, and with that profit, we could remunerate our employees in a sustained manner. And also, we are going to create courses in many online portals for, let's say, for DNA computers. For DNA computing is a very new concept, DNA computing, nanorobotics, and many such new concepts. We'll create courses in many online portals. Like many organizations like IBM, Google, they have the professional courses, and they have a business model where they get some monetization out of these. And we have also plans of monetizing our apps. We have created a few apps for weather prediction. So we'll monetize that, putting in the right marketplaces. So we have our working model, working capital being secured, and also we have a cash flow being secured through these means. Since we did not want to go for a venture capitalist, and lose our equity. So apart from Mark Zuckerberg, all the major CEOs and all the major founders have no say in the decision making of their own organization, including Bill Gates. So okay, now he's retired, but when he was there, he just had 7% stake in his organization. In the organization which he built, he just had 7% stake, and with 7% stake, you cannot decide anything for the organization. So we'll have to hold the full 100%, 50% with Anna, 50% with me, and we don't consider ourselves as owners. Like we have the ownership that's for the legality and stuff like that, and we don't have no one as a liability. It's a LLC anyway. For the assets, they don't have liability. It's a limited liability, so it's covered. And we will work in a very conservative manner, not to spend lavishly and lose our credibility. Like there were some entrepreneurs in India, like you might have heard about the United Breweries business tycoon Vijay Mallya. Okay, he also has my name. Okay, that's a disgrace actually. But anyway, Vijay Mallya, he was a lavish spender, spent lavishly on capital assets, get a lot of loans from government banks and stuff like that. Went high five. He ventured into many sectors, and finally he went into airline sector. He started the most lavish airlines, Kingfisher Airlines and stuff like that, and then he went bankrupt, and he owes a lot to the government, and then now he's in exile in UK, and they're trying to extradite him and stuff like that. So we don't want to get into that sort of issues. The only reason for his debacle is poor corporate governance, lavish spending on assets, and a non-conservative approach in terms of sustenance. So if you see organization, some organization, previous organization is pretty good. Okay, previous organization Harman. Before that, it was Bosch. So Bosch was a very conservative organization in the sense, even in during times of recession, when they had to lay off people, they did not lay off people, but they retrained them, reskilled them. So upskilling is one aspect, and reskilling is another aspect. So they reskilled them and put into other positions. But in the same country, in the same country, Germany, there's another organization called Allianz, which laid off 5,000 people during recession. So that is a stark difference. So we don't want to become, no offense meant to any organization, just a case study example. So we don't want to become Allianz. We don't want to become AIG. We want to become Bosch. We want to become conservative organizations like Nord. That's the Danish company. That's the largest, the wealthiest charitable organization in the world with a contribution of $93 billion. Bill Gates and Melinda Foundation comes second with $52 billion. So Nord Group in Denmark, they're highest, $93 billion. So that's very less actually. If you add up all the what do you call, contributions from the wealthiest charitable organizations, it doesn't even cross $200 billion. So that is not going to help what do you call, a world with 1.2 billion people below the poverty line. So we will have to change this trend and make corporate social responsibility a mandatory endeavor, and with good with good numbers of contribution, with a good quantity of contribution towards corporate social responsibilities. Okay, with that kind of mission statement and vision, and I hope I have got you on board, both in terms of the official onboarding and also the spiritual, moral onboarding into our vision statement. So we could say we are more like a spiritual organization. I don't think any corporate will work like this. But we are not monks. We are going to get married and have children and stuff. We are not monks, but we work somewhat in a spiritual manner. And
okay. No, it's wonderful. It really is. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and your vision. And I'm locked and loaded. I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are some of the projects which we are working on, and I will add more projects. For the past year, we have been ideating and developing concepts on these topics. And and these are very broad, because let's say fintech, who's in which Anna is an expert, we will have a lot of projects under fintech. At least a dozen projects under fintech. And even in our DNA computing, we will have many projects. And drug discovery, it's again will be huge. So these are the broad categories, or you could say epics. In software balance, they say epics and stories, issues, and stuff like that. So we will break it down. So these are going to be huge, broad topics. Nanorobotics, under nanorobotics, we'll have a multitude of projects in terms of forming a mosaic image of using computer vision of the anatomy from inside. So no organization in the world has an anatomical description inside out. Different perspectives. So you are able to see the heart and all the anatomy of the, let's say, holo anatomy of Microsoft, all the things, they work from a different perspective. That is from outside. No organization in the world has given an inside-out description of the anatomy. And that could be achieved only if we have nano devices or pico devices using swarm intelligence and forming a collective swarm, collective mosaic image of your anatomy. So once that is achieved, surgery planning could be easy, and avoiding NCD, disease, non-communicable diseases, and lifestyle-related diseases would be simple. Cancer could be avoided. That is the prevention mechanism. And anyway, we are creating cancer vaccine. And one more thing we can do: painless surgery. Let's say you have to do a brain, so you have to remove a tumor from your brain. Let's say go for children. Okay, let's not talk about adults. Adults are still fine. Let's say you are doing it for a kid who has a brain tumor. That kid has to relearn the language after a brain surgery is done. It is so unfortunate. Like, they have to relearn. Like, they might go into paralysis sometimes. It's very risky, and they will have to relearn the language. They have to relearn stuff because it's going to affect a lot of cognitive activities of the child. And even my uncle, they did a brain tumor surgery, and after that he had some problems in terms of kinematic control, motor control. So we will avoid that using nano robotics and surgery using nano robots. It's just like a tablet. You swallow the tablet, it goes there, it does the surgery. It stays there throughout, and it's a one-time investment. And your surgery is done even while you're running a marathon. It is painless. So we are going to become the next Sushruta. Okay, Sushruta was a medical professional, let's say 3,000 years ago or something. He was the first person to invent surgery. So before that, they were not doing surgery. They were just using natural herbs and stuff like that to do something. But Sushruta, he invented surgery. And there was another Persian guy also in tandem. They both invented, the Persian guy and Sushruta from India. They invented surgery. That is cutting open the body through a knife. And in those days, they did not have anesthesia, so it was a painful procedure. It was a painful procedure. You had to cut open and surgery and stitch it back up. But after many centuries, they invented anesthesia, and even anesthesia is risky. Many people die due to anesthesia. And even if you give anesthesia, you do the surgery, there is a healing period. There is a risk involved. Let's say you do open heart surgery or a bypass surgery or a tumor removal from the brain. It's going to be risky. Once you remove the skull, the risk is 90%. It's as high as 90%. Removing the skull, the doctors think 100 times before they go for a skull removal and stitching back. That is why God has created that skull. Because it's not for just removing and replacing. It's not for that. So he created that solid skull because it's very important, because brain death is the ultimate death. You have all the parts of the body, and the brain death is going to be ultimate death. In fact, I should have become a doctor. I just missed medicine by a whisker by 0.25 marks. Otherwise, I would have become a doctor. Okay, that's different. But now anyway, I'm assisting doctors in a different manner. So it has come full circle. And I might do an MD after next year with, they have accepted some of the things. I might do MD. So that will assist my research and my activities here. So having this kind of, so the reason why I'm motivating people is people can study anything, anytime, and gain expertise in any field. Have you heard this heard this book about Atomic Habits by James Clear? Yeah, so that they have this 10,000 hour concept. So we don't need 10,000 hours to develop expertise through deliberate practice. We need, if you have passion, you could develop it faster. For let's say, I played basketball more than 18 years ago, and I did not play extensively. Now I started playing just for 3 months maximum. Now I can play very good basketball. That's because of deliberate practice. Or that's like tennis. So the reason why I'm telling this is, let's say Anna's very good at fintech. She's good at fintech. She has a good business acumen. She could start working on gene editing sometime later. So that's our deliberate practice and applying a feedback-based improvement. So you have a feedback, you keep improving, and you reduce the error function and reduce the cost function. Reduce the error and reduce the cost function. That is the curve fitting, and that is artificial intelligence or everything. That is artificial machine learning, everything. So we are going to bring in concept of James Clear and also the concept of regulating your alter egos. Okay, regulating alter egos is pretty exciting because you have this concept of black mamba. So Kobe Bryant, he has this concept of black mamba. So the black mamba comes into picture when he gets aggressive and he wants some real things. So you might have seen some videos of him just goes bangs one person and he falls away. So that's his black mamba alter ego, but he's fully aware of it. So we will have many alter egos in different fields. So you might be a CHRO and you could have an alter ego of a CTO, let's say. You can have an alter ego of a CTO and bring it to picture. So you are aware of that alter ego. It's not that we are not aware and acting in a random manner. No. We are aware of all our alter ego. So these two concepts, the concept of James Clear's atomic habits and deliberate practice, and the regulating your alter ego for your success. So I will have an alter ego in bicycling. I will have an alter ego in sport, in soccer. I will have an alter ego in science. I will have an alter ego in engineering. So these are all my alter egos. The reason why I'm saying it's an alter ego is it goes to a subconscious level, and the more we know about our subconscious level, and we are aware, the more we are aware of our subconscious level capabilities, we become experts. Because driving is something which is in your subconsciousness. You learn driving, you keep on driving when you're driving. It is in your subconscious mind, and you are doing a lot of other activities. Let's say your whole infotainment industry is based on your subconscious capability of driving. Otherwise, no one would install audio systems and other systems in your vehicle because they know that it goes to your subconscious mind. And that way, we have driver monitoring systems and other stuff. But once you are aware of your subconscious work functionality in each of these fields, then you could become experts by regulating your alter egos. So this is another concept. So, okay, now, I guess, I should not be speaking all alone. If you have varied thoughts and if you want to bring in more pragmatism into our concepts, you could discuss. And then we could start working on, I'll share the details of our business plan and a few other aspects of it. And you could take your own time and settle in and start with some of the activities. Let's say we could start with whichever is very interesting for you. An employee handbook may not be very exciting, but something which you are very, very excited to do in terms of bringing a transformation, in terms of bringing cash flow, if that is interesting for you. Anything you could suggest and start working on it. And we don't have any deadlines. We don't do micromanagement. We don't have timesheets. We don't monitor the PCs of our associates. We don't have monitoring software which is running on your background, which logs your time in, time out. We never do that. We never do that.
It's a good thing. That tells you about trust, right? It's all about trust.
We trust people. See, they might be skiing, or they might be enjoying in a restaurant with their friends. They could still work from there. So because Anna works from restaurants, from cafe, from Starbucks cafes, and she is very productive in the sense she does everything in an efficient manner. So that doesn't matter. So we could be going on a marathon, but still we are working. So the term 24/7 has a different meaning here. So 24/7 doesn't mean that we are working 24/7. It means that we are available 24/7 at in a leisurely manner. Yeah. Yeah. I give the dice to you, so you could give your views and suggestions.
No, I appreciate that. I think that's great, and I think all you need is broadband, and all you need is connectivity, and you can work anywhere in the world. And again, it drives commitment to your mission. It drives engagement of your people, and as long as you have trust, and as long as you collaborate with good intent, as we talked about earlier in the conversation, you're going to get great results from people. And I love your model. I think it works perfectly for people that are committed to the mission and that don't care that much about money and want to create a better world. I think it's really exciting and really compelling. So I appreciate it. It's a great first meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve. And the purpose-driven life and the purpose-driven mission statement, this divine journey, these were all the the concepts of Anna. It's her birth child, and the name of the organization is kind of her name. So we are going to carry the legacy of corporate social responsibility, and we will go in a very sustained manner, conservative, sustained manner, without compromising the benefit of the employees. And I would there was a corporate governance tool, Kinton. I'll get access to it, and we have the benefits platform, and you could bring in more transformation into benefits and make it very attractive. So we don't cut down on benefits to the employees, but we cut down on assets. So that is our concept. So we cut down on assets, and we cut down on unnecessary software licenses, which are not exactly required for our development, because Zoom is not required for our development. So I don't criticize Zoom. Zoom is quite good, but we don't require a license for Zoom. But let's say someone wants a license for MATLAB for his model-based development, we would go for it. We would go for it. So that is the difference in spending. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. So thank you, Steve, and thank you for joining this meeting. And have a wonderful week ahead. And so you could slowly settle in. And then you could communicate. There are other channels. I'll add you to the Slack channel. We have a Slack channel as well. So there are many projects under the Slack channel. So that is a very easy way of communication. So anytime, anywhere, you could just communicate over Slack.
Yep. Yeah, I have Slack. Thank you so much. That's great. Look forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve. And
we'll talk real soon. Okay. Have a great day. Bye-bye.